Coffee, 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 coffee. So recently I've been super into coffee. I have a pretty decent coffee making setup, and I recently got into coffee roasting. So I built up a nice little coffee roasting setup here in my garage. I have a Fresh Roast SR800 with an extension tube, and then I have a modded thermocouple in the top of that, which goes down to a Raspberry Pi. And then I have some open source coffee roasting software, which plots the bean temperature over time and allows me to get a nice roast. I gotta work on this little disaster that I have here sitting on the workbench. The thermocouple plugs into this thermocouple Phidget, which then goes into a Phidget hub, and then that goes into the Raspberry Pi. I wanna clean this up, make a nice enclosure for it because I just don't want this stuff to get damaged. This is why I have a 3D printer, so that I can design and print practical things. So the first revision of this enclosure was a total fail. One, the layout of the modules. I couldn't fit the USB cable in the layout because they were too close together, and the mini USB of the Phidget hub would hit the thermocouple Phidget, so they just wouldn't fit in this footprint. So I just printed my version 2 of the enclosure, and I really hope that everything fits. So this is the base platform of the enclosure. These are the standoffs for the Raspberry Pi. And then here we have the standoffs for the Phidget hub. Now I did a really cool thing where I actually have these little, I can't get the camera to focus, but these little feet that slot into the base here. And then the Phidget thermocouple will go on top of this. And then I have a nice lid that drops on top. And the lid is held on by these embedded magnets, both in the lid and on the enclosure. I also have a nice wall mount slot here. So let's put it together and hopefully everything fits. I'm very happy with the design if it works as intended. The one concern I do have is that my USB cable is so long. So I might be able to wrap it up and put it in this section of the enclosure, but if not, I'll just have to get a shorter cable. This is the Phidget hub, slot on our stand for the Phidget thermocouple. That should sit right on that. I mean, that is sweet. I'm very surprised with how small these little feet are on this stand and how they just slot in so well. I have to credit that to the Bamboo. Those printers, they're super nice. Perfect. All right, we got her all tidied up here. Top on here. I hope it all works out. All right, there we go. So we got our thermocouple ports exposed. You can touch the top screws there to take the thermocouple on and off. Perfect access to the HDMI and the power for the Raspberry Pi. Now this is probably gonna be a little tight around the HDMI port. So I just plugged this thing in and I'm not getting anything on the screen. I was worried about this. This port is definitely not fully seated, so. She's up and running now. Man, that's so disappointing. This thing turned out so clean, and to have to cut it up like that was such a shame, but you know, it is what it is. I will make modifications to the design, and maybe I'll print out another one if I want to change colors or whatever, but for now, you know, I'm gonna just hang this up and finish it up. Going to put this on the hanger. I'm no designer or engineer, but dang, I think this turned out awesome. I mean, it is pretty clean looking, except for the little issue I had here on the side that I had to grind out. I will fix the model, but it at least gets the Raspberry Pi and the Phidgets off the workspace. Do you love it? Do you hate it? Let me know what you think down in the comments. If you have a roasting setup and you use the Phidgets and a Raspberry Pi, I will have a model in the description below. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. I'm sitting here packing up my tools, and I realized that I literally mounted this thing right above the roaster where hot air is gonna be blowing. So yeah, I'll probably move it. Update, I moved it.